Love this.
So, Penguin episode 3.
I've not seen the third one yet.
Mate, you need to watch it if you haven't been.
I was gonna watch it last night, but I was catching up on work stuff because I did Thursday and Friday off.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's just a quick review, really, I guess, just to talk about it because it is such a fantastic. It's just such a great show. It's amazing.
I love it.
So I want to get your thoughts, Coach, because we've not had a real chance to get your thoughts on this on the podcast. So what do you think?
Okay, so we're now to the third episode. The first 2 episodes were a proper build-up, and you really don't have to have watched the terrible Twinkly Batman in order to be caught up on the show, because some people have asked that question, and you don't. You get all caught up in the first episode, probably in the first 15 minutes. So you're basically caught up with everybody.
Yeah.
This latest episode gives you a little bit more character background on the young kid that is working for the Penguin. Victor, I believe, is his name, if my memory serves. And it really does kind of get you caught up with why he's the way he is, where he came from, and everything else. It also introduces an interest that you didn't know that he had. You also didn't understand his motivation. Now you will after this episode. And as this moves forward, it becomes even more and more twisted. What the manipulations that the Penguin is having to do in order to, kind of manipulate things into a way that he can control them, including, working with the princess, which I think she's Christine Melody. Yeah.
People who haven't watched it won't know.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. But she is brilliant in this. What a great actress. There is nothing in this show that is a deterrent to watching it. There's no messaging. There's nothing in it that is off-putting. That's probably a better way to put it. And I every single moment of it, I'm looking forward to it. And when it ended, when this third episode ended, I was like, no! No!
Wow.
It was great.
That's how shows should be. The episode ends and you're like, you want to keep watching it.
I'm like, what? Well, no, I don't want to wait another week. And now, okay, so we're 3 episodes in. I've already decided that I want like 5 or 6 seasons of this. I'm like, I need more.
100%.
I need more.
This this show is incredible writing. It's really, really, really good writing. Yeah. So a really good example
of acting,
modern day writing.
Directing.
Yeah, just specifically the writing at the moment. So a great example of modern day shows, and currently what the trend is in Hollywood and streaming services is they'll name a show after a character, and the show won't be about that character. Obi-Wan Kenobi, for instance, it was the Reva show. Ahsoka, for instance, it was the Sabine Wren show. There are many, many instances of this. This is the Penguin show. It's about the bloody penguin. It's all about the penguin. Now, in the third episode, we learn just a little bit more about his sidekick, but that's in the third episode, and it serves to bolster the penguin's character.
Yeah.
Whereas Ahsoka, episode 1 was all about Sabine Wren, right? Like, again, Obi-Wan Kenobi was all about Reva. Like, these shows they're such terrible writing because the writers don't want to write a story about the title character. They want to write a story about a peripheral character, but they know they can't sell that peripheral character to a larger audience, so they just don't do it. It's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. But the Penguin does such a good job. So, we've learned, like, we've had this character around, this Vic character around for a little while. We don't really know much about it. Culture, you were ever so slightly wrong that we didn't know that there was this interest, actually. In the last episode, we saw some messages to this person.
Yeah.
So they were teasing it.
Yeah.
But we didn't really know what was going on. We knew there was something there. And the opening to this episode was bloody great. For a minute, I don't know why, but I didn't clock that it was set during the events of the Batman. I just didn't clock it. So when it all happened and the explosions went off, which were amazing, by the way, I was like, oh my God, right. Oh yeah, no, sorry. This is in the past. This is a bit of a flashback. It was great. It was absolutely brilliant. And I think that there's some interesting sort of narrative imagery with respect to Vic and the Penguin. So you got to remember, episode 1 of the Penguin, we see a gentler side to Oz, right? Quite, quite a gentle side actually, where he's like, this guy was, he knew everyone's name. Yeah, he was a mob boss, but he knew everyone's name. He was loved. They threw a parade for him. They threw a parade for this guy, and then he just gets laughed at, and his pure rage comes out, and he just blasts, blasts this guy, the mob boss's son, to death because he doesn't like to be ridiculed. So Oz is kind of torn between his slither of decency that he has, and I think Vic almost represents. I think Vic almost represents a slither of the Penguin's decency. Basically, he is, a little bit of niceness that's left in Oz, and I reckon probably by the end of the show, Vic will probably get killed, maybe even by Penguin, and that will be Penguin fully descending into his I'm a supervillain mob boss. That's it. There's nothing nice left in me at all, and he'll fully embrace that. I reckon that's a prediction. That's a prediction. But I think it will happen because they're constantly teetering on the edge of is Penguin going to kill him? He's done it a few times. Episode 1, he was going to kill him. Episode 2, he was going to kill him. Episode 3, he wasn't going to kill him. He let him go. Interesting. I don't know. I think there's something there, but it's, I don't know. It's such a great episode. As you said as well, Culture, Kristen Milioti is just absolutely fantastic. Stunning, great actor, really, really brings the intensity.
She sells that character big time.
And tenfold, and then some. And you really, by the end of that bloody episode, you're like, what? No, the other thing that I liked, I don't know what you guys thought about this, is it's really good writing when you genuinely have no idea what is about to happen at all, but when it does happen, it doesn't seem convoluted or like completely out of the blue. It seems actually like a methodical, well thought out story. So, like Johnny Vidi, right? In episode 1, the Penguin finds photos of Johnny Vidi, and and the mob boss's wife, and he's like, right, cool, I can use these now as blackmail. So he has this plan to do blackmail the whole time, but it doesn't land. In episode 2, he doesn't get to the mob boss in time, so he can't do it. And so he's like, oh, actually, I've got a new situation. Now I can work with Sophia Falcone. I've got this stuff. Let me just repurpose it instead. Right? He's not repurposing the photos, but he's repurposing the knowledge that he has. And I like that. It's very methodical. These little things keep coming back in, like, oh, we've got these things, so I can do this here. The diamonds, for instance, the jewels that were in episode 1. Well, there you go. We know what they were. They've been repurposed now. Brilliant. I don't know. I thought it was great. I thought it was really, really good.
The show leverages the show leverages the things that didn't quite fit under the previous plan, and it also shows the ability of the Penguin to adapt and change things as the circumstances change. And this episode 3, when you get to the end of it, he's doing it again. He's changing his polarization. It's amazing. I loved it. It's so good. It's like I'm watching The Wire for the first time.
It's great. Like, it's really, really, really good. It's such a good show. I cannot wait for next week's episode.
Yeah.
Can't wait for it. And I have no idea how they're gonna. I have no idea where they're gonna go with it now, because you've got the Maronis with presumably a gun to Sophia Falcone's head, and Sophia Falcone knows now that the Penguin was playing him and left. So, like, how is he going to get out of this? I mean, he's going to, but how is he going to? I've got no idea. That's good writing. It's unpredictable.
It's great writing. Not to mention the fact that it's just he's constantly hopscotching between his allegiances and his alliances, and it's just like, oh my gosh, So good.
That one thing that they always talk about in Hollywood is we got to do something for the modern audience, and you're just like face palm, like, oh God, here we go. This right here is a good example of taking a character who has been around forever and making it for a modern audience. I mean, I love the Tim Burton Penguin, in the old school comic book style villain Penguin. This is a completely different take, and this is definitely more modern for modern audience, and I'm loving it. I love both different sides that we've gotten in the movies or TV shows for this character, and this one's great.
Yeah, no lies. I don't know if I agree with you on the modern audience thing, but I do agree that it is brilliantly done. So.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There's our review of episode 3. If you guys want to see a review this weekly, just chit chat about it, probably gush over it. Let us know in the chat. We will.
Yeah, I think we have effectively gushed over it the last couple of times we've talked about it. So there you are.
Yeah,
I've not had anything bad to say about it since it started.
Yeah. We do have a super chat about this. Chrome Clan Designs dropped in and said, I thought episode 3 was a little weak. I don't care for Oz's sidekick. His backstory is a little typical.
I don't think he'll be around long. Like Mr. H.
Well, I think he'll be there. I think he'll be there to the end.
Exactly the end. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it. I think you have to have someone for these characters to bounce off of. Like Judge Dredd never is depicted as just Judge Dredd. Judge Dredd is best served with Judge Anderson to bounce off of. Another character with a bit of light and levity. So it's the same kind of with this Penguin character. You need someone for him to bounce off of.
Right.
Otherwise, it's too dark. It's too dour. You also need another character that's opposed to Penguin on his moral compass, so the Penguin can explain his moral compass to someone else in story, so we, the viewer, can understand his
which actually happened in this episode, right, Nate?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like that's good writing. You have to have a character that otherwise he just becomes cartoonishly evil, and this isn't a cartoon, right? So you have to have someone in the story that has a moral compass that this villain needs to, can explain his moral compass to, because otherwise it's just this. Otherwise, we just see this person just do evil things. We don't really understand why he's doing it and his conviction and how he's come to the assumption that he can do these things and why he does these things. So it's quite important, actually. But yeah, I mean, he's not going to land for everyone. Like I get that, fully appreciate that. So anyway, there you go. Our sort of review.
And there's only 8 episodes of this. 3 down, 5 left. So this is a very short series. But
hour-long episodes each.
Yeah. Yep. But with the success and the direction it's going, I could totally see them doing another season of this.
Agreed.
But I don't know. We'll see.